We have had the launches, and the launch I went to at Ingle Farm was very, very good. And so we continue. This is the third of the 5 delights, the Commissioner said. The 5 delights. And so today is discipleship. And I want to share with you, just want to ask you a couple of questions first up. Do you know what that is? I don't expect you to.
A building.
It's a building. It is currently the Salvation Army's national headquarters in Blackburn, Melbourne. Now, I have been there a few times in my life over the years that I've been a PR secretary, and it is a lovely building, but it has one thing in it. If you ever go there, you're going to see a striking mural on the wall. Now, when I've been to Blackburn, this mural hadn't been painted yet, so I haven't seen this mural in real life. But there is an impressive mural on the wall. It stretches from floor to ceiling and commands the attention of those who pass by. Now, this mural has been hand-painted by hand-painted artwork by Captain Joe Brookshaw, and it depicts Jesus inviting us to follow him. Do you want to have a look at it?
Yeah. It's like Carlo Ren.
Let's look at the painting. Let's take a moment to really look at this image. Look into his eyes. They're calm. They're kind. Do you see that? See the top of his right shoulder. Now we can't see the top to the bottom of this mural, but his right shoulder on our left. What's it doing? He's reaching out. He's leaning forward. He's reaching out. His hand is outstretched towards us. And even though we can't see his hand and we can't see the whole, we can see the indication of his eyes looking at us, reaching, desiring us. And he reaches out to us, beckoning us to him. And he's looking straight at us. And he's quietly saying, "Come, follow me. Come, follow me." Throughout the Gospels, Jesus invites us to follow him. He doesn't just ask people to believe or to obey a set of rules. He talks about being a disciple, a follower. And as we read the Gospels, it's clear that following him isn't a one-time event. It's not something, okay, I'm going to do this for this month. It's not a small add-on to our lives that we do from the side of our life there. Jesus is inviting us. He is looking at us now, and he is inviting us to a lifelong adventure. And remember, this is eternal life. A lifelong adventure, one that transforms who we are and how we see the world and the difference we can make. You see, following Jesus can be radical and it can be exciting. To see the difference we can make. And we see how the difference we make as Christians in those countries where we are doing self-denial. I wonder if that's been your experience with your walk. Do you feel like you're on that kind of journey? Is your journey with Christ vibrant, unpredictable, growing, and making a difference in the world you live in or the people around you? Or does being a Christian feel like it's a Sunday routine or just one part of your life that doesn't really connect with anything else that you do? And so this morning we're going to look at what it really means to be a disciple of Jesus. What Jesus really means when he says, "Come, follow me." We're going to look at three things Jesus said about discipleship, three keys to what it means to follow him. So let's start by reading Matthew chapter 16, verse 24, where it says, and Mark read it to us so lovely. Then Jesus said to his followers, "If any of you want to be my followers, you must stop thinking about yourself." That's pretty tough, isn't it? Pretty straight, isn't it? Now stop thinking about yourself and what you want. You must be willing to carry the cross that is given to you for following me. It is dying to yourself. And it comes back, and I think I've used this in the last week. It is no longer I that liveth, but Christ that liveth in me.
Amen.
If you want to be my follower, you must stop thinking about yourself and what you want. You must be willing to carry the cross. And so the first point is the disciples turn from going their own way and they follow him. Jesus makes it plain that he's calling us to turn from going our own way and follow him. It's a change in direction. It's a change in who is leading our lives. When we become disciples of Jesus, we don't just say a prayer, then go back to how we're doing life. And that how we were doing life before that was without him. So we can't just say that prayer and go back to doing life without him. We stop thinking about ourselves as number one in our own lives and we put Jesus first. We give up what we want for what he wants. When Jesus said, "Follow me," the people of his day would have instantly understood what he meant. Because in Jewish culture, rabbis, and Jesus was a rabbi, were highly respected teachers, and it was every young boy's dream to one day be chosen as a disciple of a rabbi. But not everyone made the cut. To be chosen meant leaving everything behind, your home, your work, even your family expectations. You would literally walk where your rabbi walked, learn to think as he thought, and imitate everything he did. It was said a disciple wanted to be covered in the dust of his rabbi's feet. So when Jesus called the ordinary fisherman, now Sharon sung a song. Who was in prayers this morning?
Yep.
Yeah.
We sung a song, didn't we?
Come on, let's sing it.
Do you want to sing it again?
Yep.
No, actually.
I will make you fishers of men. So when Jesus called ordinary fishermen, tax collectors and everyday people with no status, it was radical. He didn't go and pick the best. He picked the people with flaws. He was saying to them, "I choose you." And imagine how powerful that was. These aren't the people that would normally get chosen. But he says, "I choose you." No more living for yourself, no more going your own way. You leave the nets, the tax booth and the old life behind and step into a brand new one. Now, I don't know, I think that the fisherman might have been better off than the tax collector because he wasn't liked at all. As much as we don't like the Australian tax office. So they don't sit in booths. They can now get into our accounts without us seeing them. Discipleship is not believing in Jesus from a distance, but it's leaving what you are doing to walk each day with him. Now, apprentice. Who has done an apprenticeship in this room? Mark? Kim? John? Me? Mark, what was your apprenticeship? Fitting and turning. Fitting and turning. if we need some fitting and turning, we're okay. Kim?
Talk to Mark.
Nursing. And I'm a painter and decorator. So after they fix everything up, I'll come and make it look pretty. Today, we might think about an apprentice. An apprentice signs up to learn and work with a tradesperson. My parents had to sign me in. Did yours, John?
Sorry?
My parents had to sign my apprenticeship indentures.
Yes. You made
Yours?
me do it.
Yeah. So it wasn't just I'm going to be an apprentice. It was I still have my apprenticeship papers where my parents had to sign it, and I was indentured to that apprenticeship for 4 years.
Right.
Takes longer for a fitter and turner. I just paint.
And then I started learning after that.
So when you're an apprentice, you sign up to learn and you work with a tradesperson who is skilled in their area of work. Well, you hope the tradesman that you work with as an apprentice is skilled. I first got skilled in going to the shop and buying smoko. That was my skill first up. And then I can remember my first day as an apprentice, my first day on the job as an apprentice at the Queen Elizabeth Hospital, and I worked with this painter, and he was teaching me how to do brush strokes. And he put the brush in my hand, and he grabbed my hand, he was holding my hand, and I wasn't expecting that, and he was teaching me how to do the brush strokes. I got far more teaching hands-on than I was expecting to get that. But wouldn't it be strange if the apprentice met the tradesperson and the tradesperson said, off you go, just do it. Go on, just do it. I won't be here, I'll be out there. You don't learn anything, do you? As an apprentice, you learn from the tradesman. Or you learn from education. But you learn from the people that you follow. And so discipleship is a bit like an apprenticeship. You follow. The disciples followed Jesus. They learned what he did. Now, if you're an apprentice and you only saw the tradesmen at Christmas and Easter, and then went off and did their own thing for the rest of the year, that wouldn't work either, would it?
No.
So not only is your tradesman just only seeing you occasionally, you're only doing it twice a year. A bit like going to church for Easter and Christmas, and that's all you do. To be an apprentice, you must stop what they were doing and start a new role. I had to stop going to school to start a new role. Did you, John? I got told if I didn't get a job, I had to go back to school and do it again. And she would have made me too. As an apprentice, you need to spend time with the tradesperson and the team of other tradespeople. And they study and work each week for years. I went to trade school. Trade apprenticeships weren't just out on the job. You had to go to trade school and you had to learn stuff. You had to learn how to draw architectural drawings. You need to spend time with the tradesperson. And you need to work close enough with the tradesman to learn, to grow and know how the tradesperson works so that they can follow them and what it takes to become that tradesperson. So to become a disciple of Jesus, we turn from going our own way, the same as when you go into an apprenticeship. And in the verse we just read, it says, you must be willing to carry the cross that is given to you for following me. Have you ever wondered what that means, to carry the cross? Does it mean that you just go down the back there and get that and carry that around? I know some people that do that. Another version of the Bible says it like this. He must be like someone who carries his own cross to go and die. Because that's what Jesus did. He carried his own cross to go and die. And then he may come with me as my disciple. For us to grow as disciples, we need to die to our old selves, to our selfish desires and the ways of the world. Following the way of Jesus is the opposite to following the ways of the world, where pride and selfishness, materialism, and the insatiable quest for pleasure and power become all consuming. Now, Jesus acknowledged that this isn't easy. He describes it as giving up your own life. But when we do so, we gain life. We join with him in an eternal purpose, which is something better than this world has to offer. So becoming a Christian, a disciple of Christ, requires stopping, changing direction, leaving the old, godless part of our lives behind, turning from our own ways, and letting him lead. And we choose to leave behind the pattern of this world and to courageously live out his calling in this world. So disciples turn from going their own way and they follow him. The second thing I want us to look at today is the idea that disciples grow more like Jesus by staying connected to him. And when we spend time with Jesus, we become more like him. Now, the verse that Mark read out was, "Remain in me as I also remain in you. No branch can bear fruit by itself. It must remain in the vine. Neither can you bear fruit unless you remain in me." Now, when I trim my grapevine, if I trim it the wrong way and I trimmed a little bit, I go back later and I find, oh, half that grapevine's dead. As I chopped the wrong bit and I've unconnected it from the vine. Did you know that I've done that, Shannon?
Did you try and hide the evidence?
No, it just dies.
Okay.
I am the vine, you are the branches. If you remain in me and I in you, you will bear much fruit. Apart from me, you can do nothing. So we have to stay connected to him like the branches are connected to the vine. And like I said, my grapevine, well, there's a big dead bit on top of the roof of the house at Mocha where the grapevine is over there, and I must just chop that little bit, and that bit all died. So we have to stay close to Jesus. We have to stay close to Jesus, spend time with him, grow and become more with him. And when we choose to walk side by side with Jesus, in step with him and his ways, we change and become more like him. Have you ever taken notice of people that have been married for some time? Do they start to begin to think alike?
No one's willing to admit it.
You live with them, you get like them.
That's right. When we meet someone new, and I'll just use the example of long-term married people, and there's quite a few of us here who have been married for a long time. But have you ever noticed too that if a child might get a friend and they start to sound like their friend, they start to sound like the people they work with because they want to imitate them. Well, that's what it's like for us. To become like Jesus, if we spend enough time with him, we start taking on his inflections of the way he talks, the way he thinks. We become more and more like Jesus. And that happens when we walk closely with him and we become deeply connected with him. We take on his characteristics. To be like Jesus, this hope possesses me. So we need to stay connected to Jesus. So disciples grow more like Jesus by staying connected to him. If you don't stay connected to him, you're not going to learn how he sounds, how he feels, and he isn't able to infuse your being. The third point is, disciples make disciples. So the disciples that have turned from their old way and become more like him by staying connected, that's great, but it doesn't end there. Because Jesus said, therefore, go and make disciples of all nations. He didn't say if you feel like it. He said, go and make disciples of all nations. Disciples of Jesus make more disciples, and they help others become followers of Jesus too. If we didn't have people before us making disciples, we wouldn't be sitting in this room today. If we didn't have these people 143 or whatever years ago we started here making disciples and then making disciples and then making disciples, we still wouldn't be here 142 or 3 years later. If William Booth hadn't been a disciple of Christ, and Catherine, who made disciples, the Salvation Army, which the Commissioner says is God's good idea, wouldn't be here today. Disciples make disciples. And that may seem overwhelming. So where do we start? How do we make disciples? Just think about that action of following. Making disciples isn't just shouting from a distance. It isn't telling people about Jesus and walking away. It's walking alongside them, not Bible bashing them. It is walking alongside them, showing them what Jesus is like, encouraging them, praying for them, letting them practice what they've learned. Making disciples involves a process of Christians doing life together. And when we think of the disciples in the Bible, they were with Jesus day in, day out. They were walking with him. They were eating meals with him. They were watching him minister to people. They were close to Jesus, getting to know him, learning from him, obeying him, and growing as his followers. And these disciples went on to make disciples, doing life alongside them. And now we are stepping up to do the same. This gentleman here, General John Larson, wrote beautiful music, or he wrote beautiful lyrics to music. I believe that General John Gowans wrote the music. He said that Jesus did not say, go and get decisions. He said, go and make disciples. And how can we in the Salvation Army help those within our influence become increasingly more like Christ? And a key phrase that he uses there is those within our influence. A natural flow of spending time with people around us is to show them Jesus' love. And when they've accepted Jesus into their lives, we do life alongside them, all of us together, following Jesus and becoming more like him. So disciples of Jesus make disciples. And as we get to know Jesus, we feel compelled to share him with others. As we get to know Jesus and we get to understand the great things that he has brought to our lives, we are compelled to share him with others. So my third point is, disciples make disciples. Jesus is here. He is here. He is here in this room. For those of us that have given our lives to Christ, he is here within our being, within our hearts, within our spirit. Jesus is here. His arm is stretched out toward you, and he invites you to follow him. He invites you to follow him. And you might say, well, I'm not worth it. I'm not good. Jesus never picked the cream of the crop. He picked ordinary, flawed people. And you notice that that's what his father did as well. When you look at Moses and other leaders in the Old Testament, God picks flawed people. So he invites us. He invites you to follow him. Turn from your own way to surrender all and to follow him. Wherever he may lead, to walk closely with him and become like him and to help others follow him. So the question for you today, How are you going to respond this morning? Some of you have responded and you've given your lives to Jesus, probably most of you. How will you respond this morning? Have you been on this walk for a while and you slip back a bit? Does Jesus feel a bit distant? How will you respond to him? We're going to sing a song, I Surrender All.